The charity of the week.
Come here, you're not having a treat. Come here.
Can I give him one?
Oh,
He's been so good panting in my ear.
Yes. Good boy, Finny. Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, I love this. We've been finding out all about Paws for Therapy as our charity of the week. I have loved the fact that in the background on all of our conversations, you can hear two hounds in the background. David, tell us about who's accompanying you today.
Yes, the intense panting that you can hear is not me. It's my 12-year-old golden retriever, Ffinlo. He's a seasoned campaigner with the charity. Very soon he'll rack up 10 years as a therapy dog. But at the moment, his focus is on the bag of treats in Sarah's pocket. So, hence the panting. Sorry.
Well, at least Sarah remembered the treats, David. I mean,
yes,
come on.
and David didn't. Yeah.
Sarah, tell us about your companion.
My companion is Alfie, who is lying here almost asleep. So he's obviously very relaxed. Alfie came back from the Cayman Islands with us when we moved back 4 years ago. He's very much a mixture dog. He's got lots of different breeds in him, but he's the most laid-back dog you could ever meet, apart from when he meets chickens.
Oh, I see. There's something to get excited about there. Well, that interests me in itself because, you know, golden retrievers are sort of known as being quite placid and quite friendly. Is that essentially what it takes to be a good therapy dog? Is it basically just all about the nature of the dog, I take it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we both agree on that. I think you do know yourself if your dog's going to make a therapy dog, and occasionally you hear people say, oh, my dog would be really good at this, but, and it's the but. They are thrown into quite different environments, and sometimes it can be a little bit stressful if somebody doesn't like a dog, or they've got excited too much and they're jumping around. Because we go to so many different organisations, they do need to be calm. They don't need to be jumpy up dogs or licky dogs. So you've got to know your dog pretty well. They do go through a very thorough assessment before they're offered the role of therapy dog. And there's a reason for that. You know, we've got to be able to trust them, but we are always there with them, of course.
And you are all volunteers, David, as well. So you were saying it was about 40 of you with the dogs. And I take it everyone is from very different backgrounds and very different animals as well.
Absolutely. Some of the volunteers work full-time, so we accommodate visiting around their commitments. Others aren't. So some of the visiting teams, dog and human, visit as regularly as once a week, others fortnightly, others monthly. Ffinlo had a regular visit to a nursing home on a monthly basis, but now that he's a mature gentleman, he does ad hoc visits, but even so, he's pretty busy. He was visiting yesterday, and very shortly he's off to a hospice day centre in Port Erin. So you're right. And just following up on Sarah's comments about the nature of the dog being paramount, absolutely correct. But there's also kind of no right breed or no right age for the dog. When we have our public events, such as at the Southern Show or whatever, people come up to me and say, oh, well, I think my dog would be a good therapy dog, but she's too old. Well, not at all. Ffinlo absolutely loves it. He gets as excited and pleased to do a therapy visit now that he's 12 as he did when he was 2. We have therapy dogs that come into the charity at a relatively advanced age, and we've got large dogs like Finny. We've got much smaller dogs. So if you're thinking of asking us to consider your dog as a therapy dog, don't be put off by how old it is or what breed it is or what size it is. It's all to do with the temperament of the dog and whether it can, exactly as Sarah said, whether it can reflect a whole range of different scenarios. For example, with tiny little preschool people like Ffinlo was interacting with yesterday, or quite literally somebody who might be 100 years of age, very frail, brittle bones, very sensitive skin or whatever. Can your dog behave in an appropriate way around people receiving a therapy visit from that huge spectrum? And if you think, yeah, do you know what, my dog really could do that, then we'd be happy to have the dog and the human assessed to join the charity. That would be great.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because we're talking about the dogs, but it's sort of like a three-way street, this really, because there's the dog, there's the volunteer, and then there's the person who obviously you're visiting as well. And it sounds like all three get something out of this. Absolutely. I mean, what do you get out of it, Sarah?
Oh my gosh, I get so much joy. I'm so proud of my dog, firstly, because he really interacts so well, and sometimes you go to places where somebody's having a real crisis at the time and they're not in a good place, they're not interacting with anyone else around them, and you walk in with your dog and all of a sudden their face lights up, they attach themselves to you almost, they follow you around. And the people, the staff in wherever you visited are saying, gosh, this person hasn't hardly spoken for weeks and you've walked in and made such a difference. So there's an awful lot of pride that, and being able to take your dog with you to work is just perfect. But the pride in seeing your dog interact with people and actually make a difference, which is, it's amazing.
And you've been doing this, you said, for 10 years, David, so you obviously get a lot out of this as well.
Absolutely. It's great fun. I mean, the dogs are just great to be with all the time. But Sarah's right. It's so satisfying to see. In the world of sport, you hear people talking about improvement by incremental gain. You might be half a second faster running a particular... And it's great to see incremental gains on people receiving the therapy dog visits. For example, a little tot in a playgroup who may be really quite reticent about this horse-sized dog that's alongside it. And by the end of the visit, that little child will be clinging on to Ffinlo, patting him, stroking him, tickling his ears, whatever. And at the other end of the spectrum, when Ffinlo had regular visits to a particular nursing home, there was a very elderly lady in that home who regrettably was suffering from dementia and really quite unresponsive until Ffinlo entered the room. And it was like someone had thrown a switch. That lady would hug him, stroke him, give him treats, just absolutely, and it might only be 10 minutes in that lady's day, but it's a really tangible incremental gain. And it's just great to be able to observe that.
Oh gosh, it kind of makes me want to cry, doesn't it? It's so beautiful. I mean, there's just something about, I know there's a cat as well, and I know that obviously there's ponies that go around places now too, but there is something about dogs, Sarah, isn't there?
Oh, there is, absolutely. And, for a long time, I did think Alfie would make a great therapy dog, and I was at a dinner one night and got sat next to one of the committee members, and I was chatting away, and the next thing I had an application form, and and that started the whole ball rolling. But to work with your dogs, I mean, it's perfect, isn't it? You can't ask for more.
And you said you're very busy. You've got a whole host of different things coming up. Give us a rough idea of some of the places you're going.
We're continuing to do a lot of corporate, which is fantastic and really gives us quite a wide audience, to be honest. We do the prison, we do mental health. I actually do the mental health unit every week, and that's great, because it's different, and it incorporates the dementia unit as well, which, as David said, the dementia patients get an awful lot out of meeting the dogs. And we just continue to get new inquiries every day. Sometimes we're so busy in a month that we have to put them on a little waiting list, but we get through that as quickly as we can because we don't want to hold back. We've got a request in at the moment from a nursing home where they have a new patient who's come in, and she's very upset. She had to give her dog up to come in, and so she's really going to benefit from us going in with our dog. So we've set that up for next week. And I think it's really important to react quickly sometimes if somebody really does need that extra touch, really.
Well, I think it is an incredible thing you all do, humans and hounds and cat alike, obviously. And thank you so much for coming in. And we have a host of staff downstairs who are very excited about meeting Ffinlo and Alfie. But David, if someone's listening and they think either that they would like a visit from you guys, or actually they think, I would really like you to assess my dog, what's the best way of getting in touch with you?
If you go to our website or to our Facebook page, the contact details are on there. If you would prefer a face-to-face interaction rather than online, come and see us at our next public appearance, which will be at the Royal Show early in August. come along, say hello. That's how I joined the charity. I retired from my professional life in the spring of 2014, saw the charity at the Royal Show that summer and thought, I think that would work for me and the dogs. Went and approached the charity, and the rest is history. So if you prefer the public or the face-to-face interaction, come and see it as a public event.
Excellent. And I highly recommend you do, just to get a little bit of joy out of these pups and their fabulous volunteers as well. Thank you so much for being with us. And thank you to Ffinlo and Alfie. You get some treats now.
Thank you.